Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into something absolutely vital, but maybe a bit under the radar. Agricultural pathology.
Right. It sounds technical, but it's really about the health of the crops that feed us all.
Exactly. And our mission today is to unpack how this hidden world of plant diseases, well, shapes everything from our dinner plates to global food security. We've been looking at some great material, particularly from agricultural pathology, protecting crops and food security.
Some really core insights there.
So it's this kind of constant, quiet battle happening in fields everywhere. Let's maybe start right there.
Yeah.
What exactly is agricultural pathology?
Okay. So, at its core, it's the science, the study of plant diseases. Simple as that, really.
Okay.
But it gets complex fast. It focuses on, understanding the causes, what's actually making the plant sick.
Like germs for plants?
Exactly like that. We're
Yeah.
talking fungi, bacteria, viruses, other microscopic pathogens, lots of tiny troublemakers. And then it looks at the effects. How does the disease harm the plant, reduce yield, that sort of thing? And critically, how do we control it?
So it's like being a plant doctor, diagnosing and treating these issues.
That's a perfect analogy, yeah. Identifying the illness and figuring out the best way to manage it to keep the patient, the crop, healthy.
Okay, so that naturally leads to the next big question.
Yeah.
Why is this so incredibly crucial? I mean, beyond the individual farmer.
Well, this is where it really scales up. Think about it. Plant diseases aren't just a small nuisance. They can slash crop yields,
Yeah.
reduce the quality of the food produced, and in worst-case scenarios, lead to complete crop failure.
Total failure.
Wow. Oh, absolutely. History has some stark examples. The Irish potato famine in the mid-1800s, that was caused by a single plant disease, a water mold called Phytophthora infestans, potato blight.
Ah, right. I remember learning about that. Devastating.
Utterly devastating. It wiped out the primary food source for millions. So you see, agricultural pathology isn't just academic. It's a cornerstone of food security.
Protecting harvests, boosting productivity.
Exactly. Helping farmers keep those crops healthy is fundamental to feeding, well, everyone.
Okay, that puts the stakes incredibly high.
Huh.
So given these threats, these tiny invisible enemies, how do we actually fight back? What are the tools in the toolkit?
It's definitely a multi-layered strategy. There isn't just one silver bullet.
Sure.
We have long-standing practices like crop rotation, simple but effective. Basically, don't plant the same thing in the same spot year after year.
Right. Breaks the disease cycle.
Precisely. Deprives the pathogens of their preferred host. Then there's a huge amount of work in breeding disease-resistant varieties, building defenses right into the plant's genetics.
Smart. So the plant fights back itself.
To an extent, yes. And of course, there are chemical controls, fungicides, bactericides, sometimes necessary to stop an outbreak.
But there's pushback on chemicals, right? Environmental concerns.
Absolutely. And that's where the focus is really shifting towards more sustainable approaches. Integrated pest management, or IPM, is
Right.
key here.
IPM. Okay. What does that involve?
It's more of a philosophy, really. It combines everything. Biological controls, like using beneficial insects or microbes. Cultural practices like changing planting times or improving soil health, careful monitoring,
Yeah.
and using chemicals only as a last resort, and very specifically.
So less spraying, more strategy.
Exactly. It's about managing the whole ecosystem to minimize disease pressure rather than just reacting with chemicals. Better for the environment, often more sustainable long-term.
Fascinating. It's this whole complex, ongoing effort behind the scenes. So we've kind of journeyed through what it is, the huge impact it has, and how we're tackling these challenges.
Yeah, it's a field that's constantly adapting, constantly innovating.
So as we wrap up, maybe a final thought for our listeners.
Well, maybe next time you're, at the grocery store or sitting down for a meal, just take a second. Think about that invisible battle, the one fought by scientists and farmers against these microscopic plant diseases. It really shapes what's available, what it costs, and the immense effort required just to keep feeding the world, especially as things like climate change throw new challenges our way.
A really powerful reminder of the hidden systems that support our daily lives. Thanks for tuning into this deep dive, everyone.